So today we are doing a book review on Harry Potter Numeral Dos, and that is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The beauty that is this book. This was one of my favorite Harry Potters when I read it, and now looking back on it, I can see why. It was very well written for a 12-year-old wizard in it. I know I have kept mentioning this so many times that it was so great for the 11-year-old and so great for a 12-year-old. It makes sense because, you know, like our heroes in other novels are around 16 and now, you know, trying to imagine Harry battling this big bad snake is like not a thing I could have done, but it was almost like what kept falling into place for him, and I liked it in the book because in the movie I remember there being this like 10-minute long battle scene with Blind Snakey, and he eventually would stab him or whatever, and how it was done was obviously easy because the snake rises up and Harry stabs him in the neck or something and the snake dies, but thinking about it now, I'm trying to imagine 12-year-old me trying to have the strength to stab this snake or to even hold a sword, period. And now I'm just like, oh, could that have even happened? But it was very well thought out in the book. One thing we always forget when it comes to movies but are in the Harry Potter books, Peeves, man. Peeves is annoying as hell. It's just, he plays a miniature part in this, but he's just so annoying, and every time he's around, he says something really stupid, and I want to, like, throw something at him through a book or something. Number one, starting off, this was never a smart idea. Why did Harry and Ron think it was a smart idea to drive to Hogwarts in the car? The flying car was my rescue mission, and them flying in the car, period, was so fun. Like, why did they have to lose that car? I love that thing. But why did they think that they would get some hero's welcome instead of arriving by train? They thought everybody would be all jealous. And why did they never think of teachers? Why didn't they just know that that wasn't a good idea? I know Harry mentioned he didn't think about sending an owl, but why didn't they think to not drive that car? Why couldn't they have waited for Mr. and Mrs. Weasley and been like, hey, something happened, instead of taking everything into their own hands? The very beginning of appellation has been mentioned here. It wasn't ever mentioned in the first one, and we see it progress until the final one where they're legally appellating, and it's basically like a driver's test for us. You take a driver's test at around 16 or like after that, and they take an appellation test around 17, and many people don't even take it because they don't like it, and a lot of people can easily fail. But besides not thinking that it would be a problem to fly a car in a school, they hit the tree, the Whomping Willow, the wand breaks, all of that. I liked how the car was fun. It was this fun ride. If we remember from the movie, Harry almost fell out of the car, Ron was trying to pull him up and all of this. It was really, really chaotic. But in this book, it was really fun, and they were sitting there with candy and the windows down, and they're flying, and they're like, just go, look out for airplanes and all of that. And then they get sweaty and hot and dehydrated, etc. But in the movie, the car scene was so dramatic with him almost falling out. I'm very glad they didn't have that in the book now, thinking about it. It was like a little bit of peace before a Whomping Willow really hits them. I love how that's how they start the school year, with Fred and George so jealous that they took the car and all of that. And this whole Chamber of Secrets is coming about. And finally, this is not a Harry thing. Not until the very end was this a Harry problem. This was just a problem the whole entire school was facing. Number one, with Ginny there, we always ignored Ginny until the very end of the Chamber of Secrets. And I can see how it kind of happened with Ginny there being ignored and being a helpless first year. And there's that fight scene between Mr. Weasley and Draco's dad, Mr. Malfoy, and I really, really liked it because at first you think that Harry and Draco are just two kids not getting along, but you can see that the whole entire family hates one another because of their common belief points. and with Draco's father selling things in the shop, all that Diagon Alley stuff, and as they're going into the school year, everybody's suspecting Draco. Even another person who I don't remember the name of, no longer suspecting Haley, he eventually turns to Draco, and Draco kind of had the whole school turn against him because of his beliefs, and there's a more common belief of equality than purity among the Bloods, which I liked how it was established in this book, where they come back and the cat's attacked, and it's eventually revealed it was petrified. One crucial thing they left out in the movie, which I now really wish they had put in, was the Death Day party. That was the whole reason why they were out on Halloween night when the cat, or there was some attack, happened, is because they were walking back from the Death Day party, and he starts hearing the voice of the snake. And when it's revealed he's a Parselmouth, everyone is just looking at him like he's the heir of Slytherin, and he's this bad, heinous creature because no one else can speak snake. It's not exactly a language you can learn. The whole duel scene was horrifying when he's chasing the snake after this kid, and eventually he's like, hey, wait, no, I was telling him to back off. I wouldn't have believed Harry was telling him to back off, because obviously he's chasing the snake towards him. And establishing he's a Parselmouth, when he walks upon another attack and McGonagall has to take him to Dumbledore's office. Dumbledore's like, don't worry, I don't think that you did it or whatever. And before that, he has this little talk with the hat, which I loved, because it was like my setting point almost, because the whole entire time you think he belongs in Slytherin. This one's basically proving it, and how Harry is much more brave and fits better into Gryffindor, much better than he would in Slytherin. And that's just his viewpoints on equality. I could never see Harry being in Slytherin and being a believer of pure blood. He was so Gryffindor to me, I never even doubted it until this one. I love Quidditch, how Draco's now in it, and now they're really very much enemies. I loved the Polyjuice potions. Something happened with Hermione over the summer, and she's now really rebellious, but really still rule-following. Everyone thinks she's such this great student, but she's really rebellious, and she's sneaking all these ingredients out, and all of that, and it was so great seeing the way she shifted to what was important, which was finding out who was killing all these, the Mudbloods, or just the non-pure bloods. I like how squibs are now a thing. I've always wanted this. I never realized what a squib was, because I never really paid attention. Maybe the first time I read this, I just forgot about it. The squib is like the opposite of a mudblood. I like the slang now introduced, and when there's that whole mudblood thing, and Ron jumps to Hermione's defense. The friendships are so touching, and I love the friendships these three have. It's so much, especially now in the beginning. And when the final shit goes down, I love Lockhart. Lockhart's the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. There we go. And he's really arrogant and cocky, and Harry and Ron are hiding under the invisibility cloak, and you can see all the teachers hate him too, just as much. When Hagrid is taken away, I like how everything was just a 0.5 seconds happened. The only time there's a fast adventure in this was the third one. But basically, Hagrid's taken away with Dumbledore. Everybody is outraged. Everybody loves and supports Dumbledore, which my heart. And when it's revealed that Ginny Weasley was kidnapped, and you see Ron in shock, and Harry and Ron forcing Lockhart to go after it. Eventually, Lockhart has told that was a memory spell, and then it backfires on him, which was funny. I like how the fight scene was not in this one. Like I said before, I always imagined this big dramatic snake fight scene, but there was none of that. There was like one chapter of Snake and other chapters of Tom Riddle talking through his diary, or Tom Riddle talking about his memory as he tried to suck out Ginny's soul to become Voldemort again. And there wasn't that much fighting. It was honestly Fawkes, the Phoenix, who fought the snake more than Harry in the book, which again I loved, because I couldn't imagine a 12-year-old taking on this ancient beast that's even feared by spiders. Can we not talk about the spider scene too? My God, did I love Juan in that. I loved him so much. How he was paralyzed in fear because he hates spiders so much. And they're in the car and they're driving away and Harry's like, "Are you okay?" And Juan's just still staring ahead. And it takes like 30 minutes later and finally Juan's puking his guts out like, "I hate Hagrid. Why the hell did we follow those spiders?" It was so great. And the final, like I said, I really liked the final scene because it wasn't really a fight scene. There was the explanation of Tom Riddle, which comes crucial later on, but other than that, it wasn't that much fighting. I loved when he pulled the sword out, and Dumbledore explained to him that only a true Gryffindor would have been able to do that, and it's basically like the setting point that Harry would never be a Slytherin. And I love how it was explained that he can speak to snakes because Voldemort can speak to snakes and he got that power from him. And I never realized that's how he lost his power in the final one. It never dawned on me that until then. But I loved how it was foreshadows, and immediately you think Harry inherited some of the snake speaking skills. Then what other powers would he inherit? Because that makes it more plausible for him to fight the Dark Lord. If half the Dark Lord's power is in Harry and half is in it himself, there's an equal chance of fighting. What was explained in this one, it finally kind of connected to me, because before I just thought that anybody could fight the Dark Lord. It just had to be Harry because of the consequences of it. And things are now connecting together. Keep in mind that I keep saying I didn't get a lot of this stuff when I first read this. I was like 8 or 7 when I first read this, so there's a lot of things my brain could probably not comprehend at that level. When he frees Dobby, was that not amazing? Freeing Dobby when he has a sock, it was great. I love that scene so much. And then Miss Weasley thinking she would be in a life's debt with Harry because he saved Ginny at the very end of it, and everybody piecing together that it was kind of Draco's father who gave him the book, but that it could never be proved, quoting Dumbledore. And I loved how Miss Weasley was repaid with the gift of her child, almost, because she had basically taken Harry in as a son, and he always felt like it was troublesome to them, and with him saving Ginny the rest of his life, he could just have the non-troublesome, non-guilt feeling of staying at Weasley's or stuff like that because of what he had done with Ginny. And I'm really looking forward to Ginny developing in this and the friendship developing. And I think I have a new respect for book 2. I remember I really liked it when I read it. Now it might be up there on my faves list. We'll never know. I'm Annalise. Thank you for watching. Bye!